Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Denise. I'm also known as heywigsister on Instagram and Facebook. Today I'm here with a color spotlight for you. I'm here to show you the color Tobacco Rooted by Wille. And I have the color on the touch wig. All right, I am so excited to bring you this review because I have been so curious about this color for months and months and months. And I have watched a ton of videos and never got a really good sense of the color. And so I think it's super cool that I finally have it so I can give my spin on it and add my 2 cents to the wig review world in case you've also been struggling to understand this color. So, what is Tobacco Rooted? How do we describe this color? First of all, let me give you the color codes for Tobacco Rooted. They are 12.26.27. They do not provide for us the root color, and I don't have that for you. So I'm going to give you my best guess as to what this root is. And I would say that it's probably a 4. And the reason I say that is because a lot of their rooted wigs have a 4 root. And I did compare this to Candy Blonde Rooted, which I know is a 4 root. And I think they're really similar. So I think it's a 4. It could be a 6. It is a very well done root that is not too long, as you can see here. So it isn't stark and it doesn't give the appearance of too much time between salon visits. It's just really, really natural looking, which I love. And what are these color codes? Let me tell you how this is described as you look at it. So we've got a medium brown base with a light golden blonde highlights and light auburn lowlights. A 12 is a light golden brown. So I wouldn't even really consider it to have a medium brown base unless you want to say that this gives it the impression of being a little bit darker brown than it really is. It's really a light golden brown base in my opinion. And then a 26 is a golden blonde and a 27 is a strawberry blonde. Now with all of that, you would think this would be a super warm color. But in my opinion, it actually isn't that warm. I would call it more neutral than anything. And it definitely has ashy components to it. And this blonde, I think, is a lot more ashy than warm. And so I just think it's such an interesting take on a heavily highlighted light brown color. Let's take a look at it all around. If you want to know more about touch, you can go check out my review. I decided to separate the color spotlight because I have 2 touch wigs and I wanted to spend time comparing the 2 and not using up a lot of my video time with color. So that's why I decided to break them down. So what's been my struggle all along in trying to understand this color as I was trying to decide if it was the right color for me? I would say what was hard for me to get an assessment of is how brunette is it really versus being blonde. And so let me take her off for you, and I will get outside so you can see this color outside. But you know, as I watch other reviewers talk about this color and I think about tobacco and the color of your typical tobacco, you know, I was like, how brown is it really? And I would say that it is definitely brunette, but these highlights are so light and so heavy-handed that it's really like a golden light brown with a lot of highlights. I would say if you're used to wigs in the more kind of 8 brunette range, anything darker than an 8, like a typical 6 or a typical kind of chocolate color, this is going to feel really light to you. It's also not going to be as warm as you're used to. You know, those chocolate brunettes definitely are a lot warmer. I do not really see red in this one. So while it does have the strawberry blonde, I have really looked at this in so much different lighting and maybe the slightest hint of strawberry here and there, but it's not heavy or overpowering, and it does not give me a sense that this is red at all. I can see some of the golden as I look at it. And I think actually a lot of the brown that they used is kind of ashy. So I think they did a mix of sort of warm and ashy within the 12 and within the 26, which I find really interesting. And that's what makes it really difficult to know if it's warm or ashy or how it will look on you. Something else I want to caution you about is you look at these reviews, especially if color is very inflexible for you. So if you're struggling with your wig journey because of color and you don't have a lot of flexibility on color, you really need a very narrow range of colors to feel comfortable. Maybe you're, not out of the wig closet and you're afraid people will know if you wear two wigs that are drastically different in color. When you get a heavily highlighted wig like this, it's very difficult to know exactly what you'll get when you get it. My piece right here is so heavily highlighted right here, as you can see. You might get a piece where they didn't put quite so much of this heavily highlighted hair right there, especially in the front here. That's all hand tied. It's tied onto the cap with human hands, and it may have been multiple humans who did it. And while I'm sure they've got some controls where they weigh out the hair so they try to get the exact same amount of hair, but the fact that they're tying it in to a space like this, you can imagine that it's not possible for it to seem mass produced and be perfect carbon copies of each other. So you might get a piece and want it to be this highlighted, and it might not be. Or you might think, oh, I love everything about it, I just don't really like the highlights there. Well, you might not get highlights this heavy on yours. So those kinds of things are really difficult. So my encouragement to you guys, if you're pretty new to the wig journey or struggling with color, try to go for the kind of more static colors in the beginning. Don't look at pieces like this that have a lot of different colors and are heavily highlighted, because the variability in these kind of wigs are going to be much greater than if you just kind of stick with a wig that's an 8 or a 10, or maybe only has like 2 different colors well blended with each other and not heavily highlighted. So keep that in mind. It can make your journey a little bit easier if you try to stay away from some of these kind of pieces until you're more comfortable expanding your color palette. All right, you guys, I think this color is gorgeous. I think if you're looking to go if you're a brunette looking to go a little bit lighter, you've experimented with highlighted pieces, you're starting to think you might even be able to wear a dark blonde, you could try this color. I think this is a good transition. If you're a blonde and you're looking to go darker and you want something for winter, this could be a great color for you as well, because it has enough quite light blonde, but it still has quite a bit of the darker, so you will feel like you've got a winter color. If you're used to super dark browns, though, this is going to be a huge leap for you. It may be a leap you can make, but I want you to be aware of that. All right, you guys. I hope that helped. Let's get outside. All right, here we go with Tobacco Rooted. I am so happy I got this color. Honestly, I just never saw a video that gave me a great sense of this color, and I'm loving it. So I'm hoping that I will do it justice for those of you who are in the same boat as me and just were not sure. I'm actually filming this part before I do the rest of my review on this color, so I usually do the color outside part second, but today I'm just trying to get a bunch of these out of the way while I have daylight and while it's still nice out. Sorry, I'm still getting over being sick and I'm having trouble with my breath a little bit. Alright, let's get the sunlight. I'm trying to do it so that the shadow of my camera is not in the way, or my phone. I want to spend a good amount of time on this because I know I can see that my phone's in the way and I'm trying to figure out how to stand. There's just no good way to do it for me to get the rooting because of where the sun is located. I know color can be so very hard, and you know, for us non-professionals, it can be really challenging to make sure that we're rendering it as true as possible. And then when you just got the equipment that you can afford, but hopefully if I linger, this will help you. All right, everyone. It's a beautiful, beautiful, sort of ashy, light brunette with some highlights, maybe. I'll figure out a better way to describe it for the beginning part of this video. Thanks for being here and for watching.